I had no idea moving into Hellridge Estates would turn my peaceful life into a legal battleground. When I first saw the cozy single-story house at the end of the cul-de-sac with its tidy lawn and wheelchair ramp, I thought I'd found the perfect place to settle. After 2 years of battling severe PTSD and mobility issues from a military accident, all I wanted was a quiet home for me and my certified service dog, Scoutacom, an intelligent black Labrador retriever who helped me through my darkest hours. The place was wheelchair accessible, close to my VA clinic, and the seller was an old veteran himself, who assured me the neighbors were mostly decent except for Karen. I thought he was exaggerating. Karen McDougal was the HOA president's self-appointed community enforcer in a terror and yoga pants. She lived 3 houses down with an obsessive compulsion for control and a warped sense of justice. The day I moved in, she was already circling my property like a hawk, clipboard in hand. Before I even unpacked, she flagged me down with a smirk and said, "I hope your dog knows the rules. Here, no pooping on community grass. Embarking after 6 p.m. is a citation." Scout just stared at her. Calm as always, I smiled politely. He's a service dog, fully trained. Doesn't bark unless commanded. Karen raised a brow. "Oh, one of those? You need to register him with the HOA. Ada law says otherwise," I replied, walking past her. That was the beginning. Over the following weeks, Scout and I tried to stay invisible. We took quiet walks, avoided the dog park she patrolled like a prison warden, and even picked up litter that wasn't ours just to stay on her good side. But Karen wasn't the kind of person you could appease. Her vendetta against us grew as soon as she realized she couldn't control me. Every day a new citation appeared on my door: leash too long, dog too close to HOA fountain, unauthorized use of mobility ramp. Scout became her obsession. One Saturday morning, while I was trimming my tiny backyard garden, Scout sat by my side, harness on, tongue out. Karen marched right up to my fence and snapped, "Why is your dog off your property?" "He's not. He's in my backyard. He's looking at the road." "Is that illegal now?" I said, rising from my chair. "I don't appreciate the sarcasm," she growled. "You think because you're disabled the rules don't apply to you?" That word disabled dripped from her mouth like poison. Scout let out a soft huff and shifted in front of me. He always sensed when something wasn't right. "Lady, back off," I said. "Scout isn't just my dog. He's federally protected. Try anything, and you'll be answering to more than just the HOA." Karen crossed her arms. "We'll see about that." That night, my security cameras picked up footage of Karen snapping photos of my house. She paused at the porch, stared into the lens, and smirked. I didn't know it yet, but she was about to cross the one line she couldn't walk back from. The next morning it happened. I was on my front porch checking the mail when Scout trotted beside me, leash clipped, harness on. It was a peaceful Sunday morning, birds chirping, sun beaming gently. Scout sniffed around the base of the steps, then sat at attention while I sorted through envelopes. Then I heard the sound, a sharp, aggressive hiss like a snake, but metallic. I turned just in time to see Karen storming up the sidewalk with a large aerosol can in her hand. Her eyes were manic, lips curled in anger. "Get that beast off the public sidewalk," she screeched. Before I could react, she raised the can and sprayed. The mist caught Scout directly in the face, his eyes, snout, and ears. He yelped, staggered backward, and dropped to the ground, whimpering. My heart dropped. I rushed to him, grabbing his collar, screaming his name. "What the hell did you spray him with?" I shouted, eyes burning with rage. Karen didn't flinch. "It's dog repellent, non-lethal. HOA approved. You let him off your lawn. He's a service animal, you psycho." He was on a leash and legally by my side. She shrugged like I'd told her the sky was blue. "Don't care. He scared my cat last week." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Scout, who wouldn't hurt a fly, was writhing on the ground. My hands trembled as I lifted him, his eyes red and watery. Without another word, I carried him into the house and called the emergency vet. 3 hours later, Scout was stabilized. The vet confirmed the spray had ingredients dangerous to dogs' eyes and respiratory systems, something more industrial than standard dog repellent. If you hadn't brought him in so quickly, he said, he could have gone blind. I was shaking with fury, not just for Scout, but for what it meant legally. I called the police. The responding officer was a young, serious-looking man who took one look at Scout's vet report and asked for the security footage. When I showed him, Karen's face clear as they sprang an ADA-certified service animal in uniform. He frowned deeply. "You said he's registered with the VA?" The officer asked. "Yes. He's a federally recognized service dog. I have all the papers." He nodded grimly. "This isn't just assault. This could be a federal charge under the Americans with Disabilities Act." Karen must have thought she could get away with everything just because she ran the hoe. But this time she'd attacked someone protected under federal law, my lifeline, my medical aid. She wasn't going to walk away this time. The next few days were a whirlwind. Karen was served with a restraining order and temporarily removed from her HOA duties, pending investigation. That alone set the neighborhood on fire. Some residents rallied behind her, those who worshipped her obsessive rule-keeping. But more came to me expressing their horror. "I didn't know she'd go that far," one man admitted, shaking his head. "I thought she was just annoying, not dangerous." The police referred the case to the U.S. Attorney's Office due to the ADA violation, and the FBI even called me to confirm Scout's federal status. Apparently, harming a registered service dog isn't just cruel, it's a federal crime punishable by up to 10 years in prison, especially if it interferes with medical treatment. Karen doubled down. She hired a loud lawyer and tried spinning the story. "The dog lunged at me. It was self-defense. He wasn't wearing a harness, but my security." Footage said otherwise. In full-color HD clarity, Scout sat still. She attacked him. The vet reports backed it up. Then came the whole meeting. The room was packed. Cameras rolling. News vans parked outside. I showed up with Scout, his eyes healed, but demeanor changed. He stuck close, wary of every movement. I stood at the podium and played the video. The gasps in the room were deafening. Karen sat in the back, arms folded, jaw tight. Her lawyer whispered urgently, but she kept glaring at me, at Scout, at anyone who didn't bow to her warped authority. Then the whole board voted to remove her permanently. Even her loyal supporters couldn't defend the video. But the real blow came a week later. Federal marshals arrived at Karen's house with a warrant. She was officially indicted on charges of willfully harming a service animal, interference with federally protected medical assistance, and reckless endangerment. As she was led away in cuffs, reporters shouted questions. Karen barked back, "This is political. He moved here to ruin me." But the truth was obvious. She wasn't a victim. She was a tyrant, and for once the law saw it too. Karen's trial took place for months later in a federal courtroom downtown. I sat through every day, with Scout by my side. He had become something of a local icon by then. Interviews, support letters, even a children's book about him titled Scout the Brave. Karen's defense tried everything, claiming ignorance of Scout's service status despite the harness and badge, painting herself as mentally unwell, blaming the HOA for not preparing her legally. But the jury didn't buy it. The video was undeniable, the vet testimony chilling. On the third day, the verdict came, guilty on all counts. The judge, a stern woman with no patience for abuse of power, didn't mince words. "You targeted a disabled veteran's federally protected service animal out of arrogance and cruelty. This was not a mistake. This was malicious. You terrorized your community. You will face the consequences." Karen was sentenced to 4 years in federal prison, fined $50,000, and banned from serving on any HOA or board for life. The courtroom applauded when the sentence was read. Outside, reporters swarmed. I made one short statement: "Scout saved my life more times than I can count." All I did was stand up for him. Back in Hell Ridge, the atmosphere changed. Without Karen's toxic influence, neighbors started talking more, helping each other out. The new HOA leadership revised dozens of outdated rules, and even passed a motion dedicating a small dog park section in Scout's name. Now every time I walk past the bronze plaque that reads Scout's Corner, for every hero on For Paws, I smile. Karen thought she could intimidate, abuse, and control without consequence. But she learned messing with a service dog isn't just wrong. It's a federal offense, and some mistakes land you exactly where you belong: in jail.